Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach. I'm Sarah, the expert.
And I'm Caleigh, the beginner.
Join us as we discuss fitness culture
from our two very different perspectives.
So grab yourself a protein shake
or a glass of wine
and let's get started. So Caleigh, we have a guest.
Do we?
Surprise. I mean, she's sitting in to help us produce tonight.
Audio Allen is
out. He's out, and we miss him.
We do. It's not the same.
It's not the same. We needed a third person.
So we've got
back.
a stand-in.
So we have a stand-in. We've got DJ Little J with us.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
And she snorts like you.
I do.
Snorting all around.
I love that because
I love it too.
We need the snorts.
I can't. I don't have a natural snort like you guys do. So it would be I don't want to force a snort.
So,
we're just gonna have piggies in the studio.
We have to do like some sort of little animated like reels then or something where it just.
I want to go through. I want to grab every tiny clip of you snorting
and just make it a compilation
to Jingle Bells or something.
Oh my God. I'm gonna roll off of this chair, this little accordion chair that I'm sitting on.
I love your snort, but I noticed earlier that Justice let out a snort.
I love it.
Loved it.
Give me a hot minute.
Yes, see, just sometimes you need to just let it out. Don't be afraid to just let it out and be yourself. It's totally fine.
Never dull your shine.
Never, ever dull your shine for anyone else and their opinions. But she's been giving us some lessons on voice.
Yeah.
Which I love because she's got some education in this setup and situation. So she's like the perfect person to bring in to help us out.
She listens to a lot of audiobooks.
She does.
I do.
A lot?
A lot.
Really?
I actually got a notification yesterday that in April I listened to 12 and a half hours worth of audiobooks.
Oh.
It was 4 books total. But
She's hardcore.
I'm a bigger fan of just listening to audiobooks. I can't sit and read.
I don't think very many people can these days. I could be wrong about that, but I have a hard time. But I was a bookworm as a kid.
Really?
I was.
It's hard for me. The only time I ever really got into reading books was back in the day, airplanes, when they made you shut down all your electronics for the first 20,000 feet.
Yep.
So you couldn't be on anything. You had to power everything down. That was when I started reading.
Yeah. When you didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. Yeah. I was just there. But now they let you keep your electronics on. So then really what's the point?
Right.
I'm sure book sales have
Who needs books? Who needs
You
reading?
don't need them. They've transferred to audiobooks.
yeah. Yep. And I have an Audible subscription. And so it's I can
Just
listen
included.
to just all of the things. I like to listen to them. One, when I work out. I'm not a big music person. So I do it a lot when I work out. And then usually when I'm working.
So you two would get along because you both do that. Well, yours are podcasts.
We are friends.
It's true. I guess sometimes you are like your friends. We're more opposites attract.
We do get along.
Sometimes you're like, well, that would make sense. We both like those kind of things. So there we go. But the coaching on having the voices, I think that's really super helpful. So we have now discovered a new reason for why we're drinking wine.
Yeah.
Because
it's good for us.
It's good for us.
Our voices.
It's good for our voice, for podcasting, to make it easier for people to listen to.
Justice informed us that it brings your voice down an octave.
Yeah, that's also why so many audiobook or famous people that talk a lot, they smoke and drink, and if you think clear back to the 50s,
they all had it. That was their thing.
Yeah.
So next time,
I'm not smoking.
Pack of cigarettes.
No. I don't think you need to go back there either. Do you? I mean,
it's a lifetime ago.
You found a way to kick that habit. We're not going.
We don't need to go back there.
We're not going back there. So we'll just stick with the wine.
Yep.
And there was hot tea too. So I'm like, well, can you warm up the wine?
I love some tea. I would sit here and drink tea.
You would?
Oh yeah. A little herbal tea.
Oh, okay.
I drink tea every night before bed.
I know. Well, I did go through kicks where I did that.
Yeah.
You can find a good tea. It's nice.
But
whatever.
The wine's great too, because
they're all fruits or vegetables or they're plant-based. How about that? They're plant-based. Wine is usually fruit.
And technically it's a tea.
Teas are
fermented,
flowers.
right? Is it fermented? Is wine fermented?
Yes.
Yeah, wine is fermented grapes.
Fermented grapes. Well, unless you have like a raspberry.
Okay,
wine.
well, it's, you know.
But yeah, most of the time, I think they're all from fruits.
Yeah, they're fermented fruits.
So if you really want to go
tea
around
is leaves.
right, so
Or
then
flowers.
That'd be a plant-based flowers. That's true. You can get some of those.
This is all very fascinating.
It is very fascinating. It's throwing a new dimension into the conversation, which I really like. So there you go. Get that one last drink.
I know, I'm looking at my cup. I'm like, I should have refilled that before we started this episode. It's fine. I'm fine.
Do you need more?
No, I have
Do you
my
need
water.
to step
I'm
away
okay.
for
Oh, I
just a
gotcha.
second? I mean, we can put you on
Gotcha.
pause for a second, and we can do the
DJ Lil J is on it.
yes. We can.
This is what I did in college all the time.
Alan never brought me wine.
Well, Ellen, you gotta step up your game. We need to have a little audio pause break. All right, now we're back from our little wine refill break that we had. So just brings us back to then the sidebar conversation kind of went from people's voices to how you look. And so we were looking up a few of Justice's audio book people to see, does the voice kind of match what you look like? And so it's like, well, does our voice match what we look like?
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess the listeners will have to tell us.
Maybe.
You have to go on social media to Nacho Fitness Coach on TikTok or Instagram and then tell us, do we look like our voices?
Yeah, and there are some interesting photos outside of the Nacho Fitness.
I wouldn't Google my name. Don't Google my actual full name.
I recommend it.
So a story about that. So when I first got into the fitness world, I did some competitions and then I got my personal training certification and worked for a gym, like a personal training studio. Right. And so they were in the fitness world. They were published fitness models and they got really big on learning algorithms of how to leverage the internet for organic searches and all the things. So they were using the hashtags really early on and they figured out how everything worked. And so when then each of us trainers would come in, they were leveraging that and all of your different networks and the pictures, they had everything connected to get out there. Mm-hmm. And I came home once because I was living in Kansas City at the time, came back and I had been doing the competitions, had some photo shoots, been kind of getting into the world. And I had my Facebook really locked down for like my personal people to see that it was not something that was going to show up on like news feeds because, you're walking around in bikinis that are really super small and sometimes conservative Midwest. That's maybe not the thing.
Sure.
All of a sudden I'm home and my dad's like, I was telling my guy at work, this coworker at work, that you were getting into fitness and you're doing these things. And he was like, just kind of interested, like asking questions about it. And he's like, I don't know, just Google her. And so my dad's coworker at work Googled my name. And my dad was mortified.
Oh no.
Because the second he said that, my eyes got big like deer in headlights. Like I knew what he probably was finding.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you know how that feels as a dad? I was like, oh, sorry.
Well, like, let's be clear here. These are like
snort. We got a snort. Yes.
These are like fitness model. They're not like
no, they are
OnlyFans.
I do not. No, I don't go quite that far. No, but posing bikinis for fitness competitions do not have a lot of material in them because you're doing a physique.
I've seen
you're
the
getting
pictures.
judged on your physique. So there's not much to those. You probably could. There's a lot of fitness people that are like, maybe I missed the boat and I should be doing the OnlyFans because then you make a bunch of money, right? For it. But anyways, so I'm like, okay, well, that's my story about, voice, name, pictures, Google, maybe not the best thing.
Well, and I know I've told you that because when we come to these recording sessions, I do my makeup, do my hair, all the things.
I know.
And you do not.
I should.
Well,
probably.
you don't, which is fine.
I don't. I'm lazy.
I had asked you one night before we recorded, I was like, are we recording video? Because we record video for like, the social media clips and all that. And you were like, yeah, probably. And I was like, all right, I didn't know if I needed to, how much effort I needed to put forth into my appearance. And you were like, I don't put any effort forth. And I was like, I know. I've seen you. You're like, I don't care. And I was like, well, listen, the difference is when somebody Googles your name, they're already going to find your professional fitness model bikini photos.
Yeah.
I don't have those.
Listen, those are not real life, though, by the way. I mean, they are real life. Yeah. And it's not even like a Photoshop
it's
thing.
2023. Nothing out there is real.
No, that's true. But, you know, I have side-by-sides of what like the raw image was versus edited. And it's not like people think where they go through and go crazy on like Photoshop and like are starting to change like your body or add things in. But a lot of times it's just color enhancements.
Yep.
But those color enhancements will make a big difference. You know, if they're making your makeup pop a little bit more, you know, smoothing out maybe some wrinkles.
My
or
favorite
whatever,
thing is when I'm on Instagram, because I follow your fitness accounts and all that. And I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling through and it's like a post about eating vegetables. The picture is Sarah in a bikini. I'm like, what does that have to do with asparagus?
It doesn't matter. It gets the engagement.
I love it.
But here's the best part about that is I have a social media manager. She does all of my stuff for me because I do not like to live on social media at all. And so there have been days where my husband will even come home and be like, that was actually a really great post today. And I'm like,
thanks. I had nothing to do with it.
Thanks. I know. I trained her.
I know you don't because I fully know. Yeah. I know you're like when you're asleep. I'm like, she's not even up yet. She didn't post 2 hours ago. That's BS.
So I'm like, here's my catalog of all my images. Here's what to talk about. You write it. And because it's, you know, gotta have it out there.
Whole thing.
You know, we're going to dedicate a whole episode to that because it is a whole thing in and of itself. But social media, not podcasting, voices, everything else. Mm-hmm. It's like a big deal. And now we're doing video because you talked us into doing video.
Because YouTube podcasts are a thing now.
I know.
So we may end up over there at some point.
At what point do we keep up with all this new stuff?
I feel
like I'm almost like generating. I feel like I'm getting to that generation where I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna.
I know. I kind of have to, I think.
I know. When's it gonna stop?
It's not. When you die.
Well, yeah, that's probably true too.
Yeah.
I just keep outsourcing it, and that's fine.
Just shut up and eat your sugar smacks, you know?
Yes. Which we fully are discussing turning into merchandise.
Yeah, we're gonna have some merch.
Because that episode was not super planned. That was in the cereal episode from episode 9.
Let's be very clear with our 6 listeners that we rarely do we plan what we're about to talk about.
No.
We sit down, I plop in the beanbag. Sarah's like, let's talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, hit record. Here we go.
And here we go. And so we have a topic usually. Mm-hmm. We haven't even actually got to the topic that we have picked out for this episode yet. It's just kind of going on its own thing, which is fine. Yeah. We can do that. But, you know, you should be thankful that now we have your third party person in the room that's giving you feedback on your jokes because Justice does think you're pretty funny.
The jokes don't always land with you.
I don't catch them.
Well. The thing is that Caleigh and I are like the same person. I'm just a bigger version of her. Like she says all the things that I want to say, but I'm like, you can tell that I am the person that actually does that.
Oh my goodness. Well, see, then there you go. This is a good outlet for both you and Justice. Yeah, because you can just say whatever it is.
To a degree.
I mean, we're trying to keep the curse words limited.
Yeah.
We're trying to, keep it somewhat
I think
clean.
we agreed early on that we weren't going to drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, we haven't, but then Alan.
Here comes Audio Alan.
Audio Alan.
We have to wait to release this after 10 p.m. then?
Yeah. Right. Yes, exactly.
It's going to be our first bleeps. Thanks, Alan.
We need to make sure we're abiding by all regulations.
Yes. Actually, there are no content. There are no regulations.
There are no regulations with podcasting, which is interesting. You know, so it's like, okay, well, we don't have.
We could really take this as far as we want to. It's just.
Well, you keep finding the podcasts that do take things really super far.
I do listen to some.
Because your humor level is different than mine.
Very much so.
You'll send me clips and you're like, this is actually really funny. And I was like,
you're like, okay.
I don't even know what they actually just said or what they just talked about. Was that an episode?
Oh, bless your heart.
You know, we're getting there. You're welcome. This is just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But keeps things entertaining.
I love you for you.
Thank you. Well, I love you for you too.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean, I guess I'm stuck with you at this point.
Really?
So
You are?
we're just going to have to roll it. Oh my gosh. Are we actually going to get to the topic for this episode, or are we just going to kind of keep rolling with the train that we're on right now?
So I do have like 2 questions I thought of.
Oh, I like
while you were
questions.
doing
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
So first one is influencers. I feel like that kind of ties into this because like there's so many influencers and they think that they know stuff, and you can stop me. I'm new. So
Please stop.
No.
Go ahead. Please stop.
No.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah. The questions.
And then the other one was like AI. Like I've seen a lot of stuff with that. And
We
they'll,
we
pull
plan
a
on
bunch
doing an
of-
episode about that, actually.
So let's touch on the first one. Influencers. Influencers in what way? Just influencers in fitness in general?
Yes, I would say, because like I get on TikTok. That's why Caleigh and I are friends. We're on TikTok all the time. But like I see like, oh yeah, you can't do this. You should do this. Or like, here's my body. Like prime example is like my sister and I, like I'm a big girl. She is itty bitty. We ate the exact same thing growing up,
Right.
and it's just body metabolism. But like, she could post on Instagram and be like, I did 60 crunches today and I got these abs. And when in reality, I know she ate like 10 pounds of cake before that.
Right. And you're like,
I
how
saw
do we
it. I saw her do
I
it.
saw it. Wait, so social media is not real life?
I don't really know. I don't know how to tell you this.
Wait a second. And here's my difference, is the only reason why I have TikTok is so I can watch the videos that Caleigh sends to me. Like that's literally,
And they're all really good.
they are really good, but that's the only reason why I have a TikTok account.
Yeah.
Like I don't spend any amount of time on it other than to watch the video that you send me, add it to the topics list most of the time, and then be like, okay, well, we'll just talk about it.
Yep.
That's about it. You know, Caleigh has actually become a fitness influencer. Did you know that, Justice?
Wait, what?
You have people now that ask you questions
From
about
time to
fitness
time.
stuff,
It's usually
right?
me.
I get a
I
question.
usually text her.
Yeah. Right? Oh, well.
I'm like,
that's
Caleigh, like,
she's
did
your
you
only
actually
source.
run?
She's
Caleigh,
rolled
did
in
you
here and
actually
been like,
run?
no, I'm getting all kinds of people asking me questions now.
She's one of our 6 listeners. No.
So that
I don't
represents
think you have, though.
I think I asked you about that, the Kardashian, whatever one that you guys did.
your obsession with the Kardashians.
Yeah, because I was
Our
like,
secret
That I've never, the show that I've never watched.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how this, we talked about that too. That's where Alan dropped his F-bomb.
Yeah.
We didn't make him. He volunteered to try the 12-3-30.
We shamed him into it.
a little, encouraged his participation. You know, be like, hey,
Aggressively.
you should yeah, that's sometimes how it happens. But you know, so he did not have very pleasant things to say about trying to do that on the treadmill.
No, he did not.
No, he did not. But influencers, it is actually kind of crazy because there are a lot of people, influencers, they pick up stuff online and then they just share garbage.
Yep.
It happens a lot with like new time fitness competitors. Like, oh, I followed someone's plan. I did a fitness competition and now I know exactly what to tell you to do.
And if you pay me,
And if you pay
tell
me,
you.
I'll tell you, but then you're just regurgitating the plan. I mean, it is really hard to distinguish, but
it really is.
so I have some general guidelines that I tend to follow, or, you know, if you're finding stuff online, then it's like, okay, I mean, to me, it's the simple stuff is what's going to actually get you the results. Sticking to your basics, your squats, your, like if you're talking about like lifting or whatever, right? It's squats, deadlifts, chest press, pull-ups, you know, your basic big movements. The ones that kill me were squats, somebody standing on like a Bosu ball, which is that flat on one side and it's like the half, you know, exercise ball on the other side. I'm like, don't stand on that, please, for the love. But it looks cool, I think, online. And then influencers are like, oh, let's just do the crazier looking stuff. I'm like, no, just stick to the basics.
Yeah.
If it looks crazy, then I don't understand it. But so I don't know, but it is hard because you get people that tell you the different opposites all the time.
And we have talked a little bit over the last couple of days about progress pictures.
Oh yeah, you found a few that you're like, oh, this is the 3-minute progress
in one
pic.
of my fitness groups and he was posting it. He was being very transparent about what he was doing, but he was like, are you supposed to suck in for progress pictures? He's like, because here's my just me
super
standing
relaxed.
here, and then here's me sucking in. And I was like, it was like moments apart. Huge difference.
Huge difference.
That's interesting.
Relaxed, the posing, and that's even what people, if they have a goal photo of, say, somebody on stage, like if that is your ultimate goal, it's a static pose. They're not moving.
Right.
The lighting is perfect. Your tan is on point, your angle, and you've learned how to pose your body to get to look like that. I will tell you, any one of those competitors, as they step off stage and they're walking in the hallway, like backstage, they've got the cellulite, they've got the jiggles, they've got the stretch marks, everything moves, they slouch, they roll their hips under so their glutes don't really actually look like that in real life.
Right.
It's when you're moving in real life, it's very different than, all the poses. And so, but it's still a mind, like it still messes with your mind.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, I'm not going to hate them. I'm just going to join them.
Sure.
You're just
Simple as that.
Fine, just do it side by side. So there you go. We're gonna get you a photo shoot. So you're like, okay, well, don't hate on it. Just join it.
Could do that.
See? You're interested. All right. So we could still probably come up with probably a lot of different examples of influencers, and we should talk about those. Let's add that to the list. We could come up with different examples of people that we find that are conflicting, and we could talk about it. Okay, so your next one, what was the next question? Oh, the AI stuff. Oh, Caleigh had an experience with AI. So, we go through and we record the episodes.
Yeah.
And then we get them edited. And so they're all like nice and ready to go out. And then Caleigh is tasked with the responsibility of writing the descriptions because she's much more creative and funny than I am.
True.
And so that started coming out and you were checking to see if that tool would work.
Yeah.
For us to, have like a different spin on the descriptions or make it a little easier or less time.
Well, basically I can sit and write out an episode or like a description the way that I would, and then I can transfer it over into AI and be like, hey, make this funnier or more witty or, just word it differently than I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's worked great.
It's backfired a few times. Not really backfired, but all of a sudden she's like,
I asked because it was our episode about spot reducing fat.
Yeah.
And I was asking it I asked it specifically to come up with like funny names for
referring to fat,
like belly fat or fat belly or something. And I was actually talking about myself. And like,
I'm sorry. I'm just going to chime in here real fast. What belly fat?
Stop. You're making me blush. Knock it off.
Okay. So that episode was back in season 1, episode 15, when we talked about spot reducing body fat.
So I said, give me some funny, some funny names for
body fat,
or
belly
fat, I think. And it spit out a bunch, such as like, oh no, this was the waist trainer episode.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not spot, it was waist trainers.
We might have got some funny ones from the spot reducing body fat though.
This was waist trainers because we were talking about
episode 16. So they're right there back to back.
So I was looking for terms like muffin top manager.
That's right.
And so it spit out all these like funny puns or like witty names for like belly fat. At the end, it said,
it gave you like
a warning telling me to not use these to bully or body shame.
It was like
I'm only bullying myself.
It was shaking its finger at you. Like, you should not be finding ways to fat shame and bully people.
And I think I went ahead and borrowed the term pudge pouch. we gotta snort.
That's all I'm gonna refer to it as.
We're gonna have like six clips just from this one episode of the snorts.
We just lost 6 listeners. So.
Justice is the single one left, and now she's definitely gonna listen to this episode because she's
I'm sending this to all my friends.
Oh no! So that was funny. That was, and I sent it to you immediately.
That was
I was looking for funny words for like
Yes.
fat, and it told me.
It told you to stop body shaming people.
Yes, no bullying, no body shaming.
Yeah, don't do any of that. It was pretty entertaining.
So other than that, it's been cool.
And then Caleigh has an app that is basically AI driving her plans.
Yeah.
So it is kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, it'll be weird to see what happens with it. Sometimes I think you eventually can't get to the point where you actually replace that human interaction.
I think AI is going to replace fitness coaches.
Right, but you have maybe
replace a lot of things.
Maybe for the programming, but there are some people that still just do better if you're seeing somebody in person and you are, getting kind of like encouraged to get through. It's much easier to quit on yourself.
Yeah.
Sooner than, not or whatever, but I'm just saying. So AI is creeping into fitness too, for sure.
Yep.
Caleigh's paying for it.
It's getting everywhere. Yeah.
It is. It's everywhere. It's robots are taking over.
They really are.
For sure. So, all right. Well, this was a good time. We introduced Justice as our stand-in producer.
I think we actually went into this thinking we were going to talk about nutrition labels.
We did. We'll have to save it. You know what? We'll save that for the next episode.
I don't know what this episode was about.
It really just, I think a little bit of everything.
We had DJ Lil J.
Yeah. I love it.
Whoop whoop.
Sitting in. So she's
I love him. He said whoop whoop. I thought you said little poop. Like, wait, did we get it wrong?
No.
You DJ Little Poop? Because now you are.
You are.
I'm not the one with IBS here.
Okay. All right. We haven't even talked about that.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to save that for another episode. Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.